Hi, how you doing now?
I'm good. How's everything?
We bless God. Can't complain. Surviving.
Happy. From our last session, I I did not plan that session would be about FMCG. I that's why I do this. That's why I do not prepare questions prior to those sections at all, because the questions forces me to start. It constrain me, and I don't like it.
Mhm.
I love how the session went, and a lot of people have sent you DMs, like you said. They've tried to ask questions. Um, did you think before the section? Did you think it would go like that? Did you think people would be messaging you?
I
Did you set
mean,
out to actually impact people like that?
I never knew what we were going to discuss that day. We just, started the conversation and it went towards that angle. And I mean, it has been impactful. Gotten a couple of DMs. You know, um, I don't want to say mentorship because I don't believe I'm someone anybody should. I mean, the way I move on social media, do you really want me to be your mentor?
It's,
So I don't want to use the word mentorship, but I mean it's just all about steering people in the right direction.
yeah,
But the most interesting one that I got was this what's it called? An intern that
yeah,
I posted that one who
mm,
is literally working with UAC, interning in UAC
wow,
and looking towards joining their marketing team. She listened to the podcast and she was like, "Oh, okay, it's impactful. How can I help her?" I mean, I just started like telling her what to do. Okay, but before you do this, do you mind taking this course? Let me even
yeah,
know that you've started, something, along the
mm-hmm.
line of what you think you are interested in. So yeah, and it's been a great one. So I mean, we are here to have further conversation.
Another one. Yeah. Another conversation, which is I really like that people like you're out there putting words out there. I never know you could make money from uh, marketing FMCG, marketing. When they say marketing, then it's product marketing. That's what everybody knows. And it was when I was into this thing that I got to know that you can actually go into things like e-commerce and market these kind of people, market all of this marketing that you see from this particular Milo brand, Bonvita. There are people cooking these things in their head, and it's very interesting field to enter. And I love it. I love it for everybody that are enjoying this, and that's why I was like, let me try and make this session a part two. Of course, we are going to go outside of FMCG. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
can't stick to one topic. I'm a conversation guy. It's like, okay, let me just ask you some questions that I think should be follow up to those questions to
Okay.
the first session that we have. Yeah, maybe somebody that listens to that podcast can say, what is the next level? What is the next thing for me to do? I will say, okay, let me ask Femi some key definitions in
Mm-hmm.
FMCG. What is the career ladder like? How can you position yourself? And all of those things. Then we just move to other things like masculinity and all. So, but the first question I want to ask you is this: What is activation? What is activation? Eh,
Okay.
what
So
is it? What
so
is that?
in our own world, yeah, activation, an amazing term, but sometimes we call it experiential marketing, right? And it's a process in layman's term. It's just like a process of creating an experience and then taking that experience to your consumers for them to try out your product that can further lead to repeated, purchases. And It starts by wanting to create a unique experience that fits into the lifestyle of your target audience. Let's say, for example, I lead the marketing team at Close Up Nigeria, right? And we want to do an activation around maybe a mall, one of the biggest, shopping malls in Lagos. That experience that I'm trying to create, I want a situation whereby I'm creating a unique experience for potential consumers, whereby when they take that experience back to their closet, back to their house, whenever they now have the opportunity of interacting with my product, right, they still get that same experience. So the essence of what's it called, experiential marketing is not
Marketing.
just, or activation generally, is not just to get people to try out your product. It's leading to one thing, it has to lead to sales. And that was why I loved
Mm.
what Sheung
Shewadiola.
Adiola, that was why I loved the conversation. And you see my comments that day that he intentionally loved the way he pokes you. See, the essence of marketing generally is growth and sales, right? That's the end game. And if you are trying to use activation to then get that end game, you need to create experiences or immersive experiences that fit into the life or into the lifestyle of your target audience that satisfy their needs, and whereby if they are living where you did your activation or where you activated, right, they are going with one experience that in their closet they want to try it out. And I'll give you a case study of one experience I had last year. I mentioned it earlier. When I went to Ibadan for a UCL, Champions League night, I just Champions League
Mm.
final. I wanted to spend
Mm-hmm.
time with my friends, but when we got
Yeah.
there, I saw an alcohol brand activating, and in my mind I was like, "Kí ló ń ṣe àwọn eléyìí?" Because I literally
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the industry, so I know what they are there to do. So interacting with them, I got to try out their products. And they were telling me, oh, you can make it with this kind of cocktail, you can add it, mixologist did every wonderful thing he wanted to do. Kudos to him, actually. And I tasted it and I was like, oh, okay, this thing is really, really good. From my experience, one thing they did there was after I experienced it, if I want to buy, I can buy, right? That's sales that they are trying to do. I had to buy.
Yes.
So when I bought, I took it home and I was like, come on, this brand makes a whole lot of sense, especially if you try it out with as a cocktail, as a mixer for your cocktails. And last year, December, I hosted a couple of my friends in my house, and I was like, guys, we've worked from January to December, right? Okay, let's just find one day, come together, have fun, play games, make noise, listen to music, then you go back home. I bought that same brand. I went to a shopping mall. I bought that same brand and I used it to entertain my friends. That's the essence of activation and experiential marketing. They are giving people an experience whereby they are taking that experience from whatever they've gotten, right? They are taking it to their own closet. They experience the brand. They feel the same way they felt when you activated or when you gave them a reason to try out the brand. And then you've turned them to advocates, you've turned them to consumers. If I was someone that takes alcohol every day, trust me, I'm literally going to buy that brand. But I'm not much of an alcohol person, right? And I have so many. I even have bottles in my room that I've not even opened. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So is that's literally the essence of activation, essence of experiential marketing, whereby you are just trying to create an immersive experience. You want people to feel a brand, you want people to know about a brand, you want people to have that feeling. It's and one the thing about experiential marketing is you don't need to do something that is false, whereby when your consumers now take that experience that you have crafted for them, they take it to their closet and they don't feel the same way. The moment you do that, you've lost a potential consumers. So if I taste your product and it's literally good, I want to come back home and taste it in my closet and it's good. I tasted the second time, it's good. Then I'm like, oh, I have a friend in Kafancha. Have you tasted this? This is how you build a community around your product. I mean, crypto guys do it a lot with trying to build communities on Telegram, build on Discord, Slack, and whatever channel they are making use of. But for brands that you or for consumables, you want to give people your products, right? You want them to try it out, and that's like the essence of experiential marketing. And I know that I wrote an article on it sometimes on my Medium. Maybe when we are posting this
I'll plug it to the description.
yeah, you can just plug it into it and get people to read up on
So
experiential
read up on
marketing.
that. Yeah, yeah. Thinking of that, I thought about a perfume brand in my agency. That work with my e-commerce agency, and I'm thinking right now that we could actually try this out for them. Placing their perfume in strategic places. People should try the perfume out. Maybe that would make them want to buy. That's the idea, right?
Exactly. And I mentioned also you can do something like everybody talks about Lagos smells, Lagos things, blah de blah de blah de blah de blah. I mean, it does, we know, but that's
Yeah.
conversation for another day. So imagine you go
Yes.
to like a Obalende and you are doing like an activation at Obalende, leveraging guerrilla marketing, right? But there's one particular spot. If the whole of Lagos is smelling, there's one particular spot that doesn't smell. But whatever, whenever you find yourself there, you are finding this lovable, smell, or is it scent rather? That's the right word.
Mm-hmm.
Lovable scent
Same.
that is coming
Yeah.
from that particular location, courtesy your perfume brand, right? So imagine that kind of situation. People want to, whenever they find themselves around Obalende, okay, they don't want to be anywhere else. They want to be at that spot because they don't want to get the bad odor, but they want to get that lovable scent, right? So you now leverage that example, do an activation around that region, and then get your product into the hands of people. They go home, they try it. The next day, they open their wardrobe. There's this lovable, scent that comes out of, their wardrobe, and then they get to talk to people about it. Somebody says, "Oh, you smell good," and "Oh, it's so perfume that
So
I'm
so
making
so.
use of." So. They get to talk about it because you've given them an experience and you've said, "Okay, this experience that I'm giving you through this activation." By the time you are taking it to your closet, you are getting that same experience. People like that will turn to brand advocates. But the major goal of activation or experiential marketing is to get people to try out your products, to drive trial. The moment you drive trial and people are satisfied with whatever you give to them, they can then start making purchases, and then you convert them to advocates, where they now start talking about. There's a lot of brands in Nigeria that don't really go the route of major advertising, and they leverage so much on experiential marketing. Come to think of it, all these bitters brand, all these local nonsense bitters brand that
Mm.
people so
Yeah.
Jeko Samba, it's from experience.
Yeah.
These people activate in the trenches a lot. There are sometimes
Correct.
even the activations are not the most beautiful activation. You can just
Vision.
go to
Yes.
churches and see they just have one boss and people are dancing and they are just doing whatever they are doing, and there's one DJ playing music and they are getting their products into the hands of people. You know what they do? The moment they get their products into the hands of people and you try it and people àgbo kókó sàmbà tí mo mu lánàá yẹn ó ṣiṣẹ́ gan, those creativeness, it's good, give me more,
Yeah.
they are feeding me. They've given
Mm.
all those women that are selling paraga on the roadside, they've
Yes.
sold to those women because they've given you the product and you love it. Those women will sell to them later. You are selling to them. They've created a chain of usage, right? So from
Already.
trial to purchase to turning to a regular
Mm-hmm.
consumer, and such
Customer.
people,
Mm.
whenever they try out your product and it delivers whatever you told them is going to deliver, they want to talk about it more. They are telling their friends, omo, kini tí mo mu lánàá yẹn, ó ṣiṣẹ́ gan.
Mm.
The day I saw somebody drinking cocoa samba and powerhouse. In my mind, I was like, this
I was
person
like,
is killing himself. But I
yeah.
mean, that's you can't blame the person because that's the experience that the person has gotten from using whatever that he has used at some point in time. So
Mm.
that's the essence of experiential marketing, right? Trial, and from trial, you want to drive, conversion.
And I like the fact that you ended it with conversion. That put it at
Is
the back of your mind, though.
it
That,
has to be sales. I mean, what's the essence of marketing if you are not making sales? You are just wasting money doing ads, doing communicating, and people are not buying. At some point, you think about so many things, and you feel like maybe you want to shut down the product, and that's why so many FMCG, right? There are even a whole lot of products that even you don't know is in the market, but because they are not making sales, they just shut it down or they rebrand, they bring it out another time. If it's not working, they shut it down, they try another method, they shut it down, they try, they just keep trying till
mm.
they kind of get it right.
Do you think it's because of quality that major Nigerian brands run away from this?
I mean,
I
quality is one of
think, yeah, is it
quality is one of
quality?
the major problems we have in quality control. Literally, is one of the major problems we have in Nigeria, right? And also, we need to be very honest with ourselves. Buying power is reducing drastically, and I mean, from economic trends and factors, right? But is there a very good brand that I doubt especially from the FMCG sector, even if you've now built a name over time, even if you don't build a name, even if you are new into the market, and I'll give you a very, very good example. Sunlight and Good Mama and Viva.
Mm. Yeah.
Viva came into the market at some point with a very good product and a lot of money, and they just
Mm.
won the market,
Mm.
right? Despite the fact that Sunlight was delivering,
Has been there.
Good
Yeah.
Mama was delivering as we
Delivery.
all wanted. But come to think of it, visibility, distribution, they fixed that distribution was top notch for Viva. I mean, there was literally no store you could walk into that you won't find, a Viva. Before Viva came into the market, there was Wow. I don't know if I can't remember if it's the same. I
Yes.
can't remember if it's the same brand. I don't like Wow. You know why I don't like Wow?
Mm.
Because I feel like it doesn't give the same result as Sunlight, right?
Mm.
In terms of
Yes.
being very good, the quality of the
Mm.
product is not as good. But the first time I tried Viva, it looked really good. The scent was
Mm.
like really nice. I tried it again. Okay, this brand is not bad, and I've been a Viva person since then. Despite the fact that I was loyal to Sunlight for so many years. For so many years, if there's no Sunlight, I'm not buying anything. But one
Mm.
experience with Viva just changed it.
Wow.
So if quality is
Everything.
good, and I mean, they also leverage price point of view. Sunlight was more
Mm.
expensive at that
Expensive.
point, and I mean, even if you felt like it was just like 100 naira or 50 naira difference, for an average Nigerian, it counts a lot, right?
Matters.
So you also use there different entries or routes to market from price. Me, from my experience, I don't always advise people to come from price point of view
Price
anymore.
war because everybody
Yeah,
uses.
you can get the market, but one thing I've realized is, especially if you are doing with price, is if your product is not good enough and you come from a price point of view, there's always one bastard that is ready to go lower
Goal.
than you've gone.
Goal over.
Exactly. So I don't always advise people. I mean, you can meet the normal, standard market price. It can just be slightly lower. But if your product is good, really, really good, and it's good enough to, to challenge even the key industry players, yeah, go for it. It makes a whole lot of sense.
Makes a whole lot of sense. Thank you, Femi. I want to ask about if you would like to discuss any, if you work with global brands, yes. If you want to discuss, for example, let's say I'm a newbie in FMCG, I got a client that say, "Oh, I want to do activation. I want to do experiential marketing for my product. What can you? What is the step to step? What is the walkthrough
So
from
I
planning to
mean,
execution?
if let's say you get someone that wants to. It depends on how you want or how they want to approach it. A lot of them want to approach
Just
it
give me a general value.
agency side, or even if they just want to recruit you to come in to do it on the side for them. The first thing you want to look at is everything goes back to strategy. See, marketing. I tweeted something one time that the foundation of or marketing is rooted on the foundation. You can't skip that foundation, regardless of even if you are doing growth, even if you are doing product, even if you are doing brand marketing, even if you are doing anything. Everything needs to be rooted on strategy, insight, right? So you want to do it. Let's say you fixed your distribution, you've done distribution, you've produced, but you want to go to market. It's strategy. You want to communicate. What are the best strategy is what will inform you that, oh, this is the best entry point, or okay, maybe you should enter through maybe a price point of view, and what are the key industry players doing in the industry. What is literally the same foundation for how you go to market with a product, with a technology product, right? So it's just expression, and how you are going about it is what I think is. Someone else can say, oh, it's not the same thing, but personally, for someone who has done GTM for startups and GTM for FMCG brands, it's literally the same thing. It's hinging on something. Everything is built on a foundation, and that foundation is strategy, insight. This is what the market is saying. But based on what this market is saying, you can now come up with creative ways to say, oh, from my insight, from my research, from my strategy, this is what market is saying, and this is how I think we should go to market.
Is creativity the bedrock? Is creativity the foundation for marketing in FMCG?
No, it's strategy. It's literally not creativity. It's strategy. See, if you are hinging it on creativity, there are several set of people that are more creative. Creativity is key, right? Is one of creativity is a way you use to express whatever insight and strategy that you've gotten from your groundwork, from your research, from your strategy, from your how you want to express yourself. Creativity is what brings it to life, right? At some point, Coca-Cola, or I think it was Pepsi, that did something around, taste, whatever. Pepsi did something around taste, and I know I watched a video sometime that was saying something around how Pepsi said, oh, and how even research is saying Pepsi has, the best taste. Coca-Cola was going to respond. They said you can get the taste, but you can't get the feeling, right? That's that's like how you can express your positioning with with strategy is what is going to tell you that this is how you are going to position yourself in the market. This is what your tone of voice is going to look like. These are the set of people that you are going to target, and this is where you are going to meet those people. And when you meet those people, this is how you should engage those set of people. Creativity is what brings it to life. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I
So
understand.
strategy is
Yes.
like the German floor, right? If you are into building, strategy is like the German floor. Creativity is now the duplex or the skyscraper you want to build
Yeah.
on that German floor.
Mm, mm. I understand now. Citing the thing that you said about the tone, and it makes me try to remember this Mama Do Good campaign that Indomie did. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, strategy is why they actually went ahead and communicated with the kids instead of the parents, right?
So I will give you one. I mean, I didn't want to say it, but I'll give you one
Yeah.
what's it called? I'll give you one instance or two instances. The
Okay.
first video we did almost got me into um what was it called, tolerance, but we did not agree on so many terms. I wish people would not dwell on this. I don't want tolerant people to come and
Yeah.
drag. We didn't agree on,
Yeah.
especially on the financial bit. And I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
going to do certain things that I'm not so sold on, right? So you see, from my conversation with them, we had one conversation. I worked on Epic, right? And there was one thing that happened when I worked on Epic. Epic came from nowhere when they launched the sachet brand, and it became so successful that wherever you go to, you can literally see Epic. Communication was amazing, but strategy was what guided how Epic came into the market. And when I had that conversation with the guys at Tolerant, one thing came out. The guy said, oh, why do you think you guys were successful with Epic? Because you literally said Epic is like your baby. I said, yes, it is my baby. But strategy informed us that if we're coming to the market as a brand that is very expensive and you want to come in from a price point of view, you need visibility. People need to see you. It wasn't about the billboards anymore. It wasn't about people that saw us in billboards on social media. I mean, we did all of that. It was about people that saw us when they were ready to buy. A lot of our target audience love Epic, but they felt they couldn't afford it. But now that we are coming from a price point of view and saying you can buy a sachet Epic sachet product, from a product design point of view, Epic floored IPO. IPO back then was you couldn't hang it. I mean, you could only hang maybe milk. You could only hang milk, maybe detergent and the likes. Whenever you
Yes, I
walk
know.
into a random store, right?
Yes.
For IPO, it was always in a park. They just drop it in one corner, and you go there. You visibility
Yes.
of the sachet. Epic said we wanted visibility, and from research, from product design point of view, the person who designed the product said, okay, fine, you can do it from a way that when people hang it, the same way they hang their cowbell and everything, your consumers can literally see it. And that was how Epic won in the market that led to growth at that point in time. It's strategy. It's not just we didn't just sit down to find we found a loophole in the market to deliver on that, right? Even though we did experiential marketing with what's that, Ellen Paul, right? Going to different markets, showcasing it, getting the product into the hands of people, going to public toilets, doing all those, experiential activation across because we wanted a lot of people to see. One thing we ensured that we did was whenever they went back home and they want to wash their toilet and they go to a nearby store, the aboki that is selling something beside their house, the first thing they do when they look up is they see the happy product. You've delivered on that. So it's you cannot hinge your whole marketing communications on creativity alone. It needs to
It's,
come from
it's,
somewhere. Something needs
it's
to
deep. It's very deep.
inform it. If
Mm.
strategy is informing it, insight is informing it, you then know how to go about it and express it. You know, one of the conversations I had with the guys was, "Oh, okay, what do you think you would do with Indomie, blah 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 blah." I gave them instances about what they can do, how they can come into the market. You want to target young people. Come to think of it, there are so many young people coming, across that will literally come, the new generation alpha, the next generation after generation alpha. You want to do something that is transferable across that generation, and it's coming from strategy. It's not just going to come from, oh, I want to do a billboard that is going to be so big that there's
Uh,
flower here, that there's no. It has to come from insight. It needs to come from somewhere. So that is why I always say insight and strategy, they are literally the base of the success of any marketing communications plan. Creativity, how you now want to do it, even if you want to build it on top of Burj Khalifa, that's how you want to express it. Creativity is just a way of you expressing the insight that you've gotten to build, or the insight that you've gotten to communicate your brand to your particular audience. And I'll leave you with this campaign on this particular subject matter. There was this campaign that was done in India. It was literally everywhere. One of the best campaigns I've seen in my life. They called it Bonvita First Pass, right? And the whole thing is, in India, parents are actively involved, especially if they want you to go to school. They are actively involved in shaping your choices when it comes to academics, right? And they're always forcing you to either want to become an engineer, want to force you to either become a doctor, force you to become a lawyer, because it's a
that's true.
poverty stricken, and we
Yeah,
experienced it in Nigeria, literally, where your
Nigeria
parents
too.
are like
Yeah.
literally actively involved. So Bonvita did a campaign called Force Pack. You walk into a mall and you see a Bonvita in what was it called? You see a Bonvita in like maybe you don't see it in its normal pack, you see it in like a Coca-Cola
Yes.
pack. You are asking yourself, is this really Bonvita?
Mhm.
Or you go or you see it in maybe a packaging that has to do with maybe cream or something, and then you're asking yourself, okay, what's this campaign all about, or what is this brand all about? This is not Bonvita. You're already even doubting the product.
Yes.
They now likened it to how parents are shaping the decisions of their children. Whereas when these children now leave or maybe they go to school, they don't do well in school, they don't like excel in whichever careers the parent has chosen for them, because that's the parent's choice, not the kids' choice. The essence of the campaign is let your children fly, leave them to become whoever they want to be. You want to become a dancer, there's an opportunity for you. You want to become an actor, there's an opportunity for you. Everybody don't need to be a lawyer, everybody doesn't need to be, a doctor, everybody doesn't need to be an engineer, everybody doesn't need to be a programmer. There are different things children can do that makes them succeed. And that was what they did. Creativity told them, put it in a certain pack, design the pack like this, do this like that. But strategy informed them that this is the problem that we should use our marketing communications to solve. We need to
So,
understand that the essence of marketing is not just to showcase product, or it's not just to advertise. You are trying to solve a problem first. The moment you think about marketing from a problem point of view, and you want to solve a particular problem, it gives you a chance to thereby express yourself in a way that is meaningful to your target audience. So marketing solve a problem. Once you are solving a problem, you can now use creativity to express different dimensions of how you want to solve that particular problem.
wow, this is masterclass.
You people should come and feel it.
We should, we should. As I'm watching this video, go to Femi Anthony's DM and send him money because this is deep. It makes like one of the things I understand, like the fact that they have to come. The design has to come from the design has to think come from insight as well. Has to come
Mhm.
from strategy as well. That okay, they are hanging a peak. I was like, wow. It takes me back to this session I had with Shane Adiola that was saying, look, bro, it's everything is about it. There's a neuroscience here. There's science here before art.
Honestly,
There's science
science comes
here. Mm-hmm.
marketing.
Science comes before the art. Science comes before the art. Shane was telling me that, bro, if you can tell me that, if I tell me that this data is telling you to design this thing this way, I'm okay with you. I'm okay with you.
Mhm.
Wow.
To be honest.
So how do you guys go about consumer research?
So, with consumer research, I mean, I've done a couple of things with Cantor, with Philips Consulting, but the process is quite simple. Sometimes it can be like a focus group of like maybe 100 people. You want to do a marketing campaign. You want to understand how a particular generation is thinking. I think having certain numbers of different, same demographic or same audience, but from different demographics, like 100 of them each, you do a focus group to understand their thought process towards a particular product, sampling, get feedback from them. Okay, what do you think about this product? But on a very, very larger scale, where you want to do with like a lot of audience, right? One of the things we do is we work with research agencies like Kantar, Philips Consulting, and the likes. So we give them a brief on what we want them to do, how do we want the research to be about, what we want them to. Nigeria is very hard when it comes to data, right? And you really need to be on the field. So sometimes we work with these guys to go on the field and do the research. And I know that my time at Sibyl and James, I did one research with Nairametrics too. So Nairametrics too, they assist with the research bit. So if you want to really, really do consumer research, not from a digital standpoint, but from a market point of view, where you go to the market and you have that conversation just to understand perspectives and different things. You can work with Kantar, work with Philips Consulting, Nairametrics, and there are a couple of other agencies that do that particular bit for marketing professionals.
Are you saying that strategy is the most difficult part in uh, consumable
Every
marketing?
every phase of every every phase of marketing can be difficult, but for me, strategy is the most important because that is just like a case study of somebody that builds a house on a faulty foundation. I remember before we started, this particular recording, we made mention of the experiential marketing in Drive is doing, and I said I genuinely do not understand what they are trying to do because if people are complaining about your services, I do not think using Don Jazzy and what was it, Shanks solves that
Shanks.
problem because it's going to be like a short time point of view, right? It's going to be like a short time experiential marketing. But the point is, what do you want people to take out of a particular campaign? That's where strategy comes in because strategy will tell you the problem you are solving, is going to tell you how to solve that problem, and is going to tell you the key takeaway for even your audience out of that problem, right? So if you can, strategy is where you just build every. To be honest, from I've worked in an agency, right? And one of the things we always want to take time on is strategy. And there is no time where I'm working on strategy and I don't always like carrying my clients along, right? Because sometimes clients have what they want to achieve, but this is what data is saying. If data is saying is data is saying something different from what clients wants to achieve, I call my client, I say, come, this thing you are trying to do, you can achieve it with data is saying this is what you should do, but if you want to do it this way, I now draw possible outcomes for you. If you do it like this is what you get, this is what you get, this is what you get, this is what you get. But if you do it like this is how, if you do it based on what data is telling us to do, these are possible results, right? Even if we now take that result and we now tweak it, whatever we want to achieve, will be achieved. And let me now tell you something very interesting. When we work on products and when we work on creatives, literally, I want to do a campaign. Do you know we test those campaigns too? The same way you do A/B test on
Yes.
your ads
Facebook
manager,
ad. Yes.
everything. We do test too. We work on three designs. We take it to the market and we say, oh, 1,000 people. We interview them. This particular campaign, this is what we want to achieve. This is what we want to achieve. Which creative speaks best to this purpose? Somebody looks at it and say, oh, this one. But nǹkan tí mo rí leléyìí, nǹkan tí mo rí leléyìí. I mean, you are talking to locals, right? The person gives you like an insight. You take that
Insights.
insight, you document it, talk to another person, it gives you an insight, you document it. From that test, sometimes we realize that certain creatives are not working because it's not hitting the nail. But from the designer point of view, this is beautiful. But the
Useful.
consumers don't want what is beautiful, they want what solves their problem, right? And that's what we need to work with. So we take that data, then bring it back to a brainstorming session. Even sometimes big idea is not eating the way they want it to eat. So and these things are things that they do in advanced countries whereby they test creatives, they test campaign ideas, they test it because they want to see what people think about it. From that focus group that you've done for 100 people or 50 people, you can get enough insight. And I mean, even if it's not enough, you can get at least a particular insight that is very contextual. You know why it is very contextual? Because you are speaking to people and you are getting feedback. It's not like a Google form where you just, see, oh, it's not working, it's not working. I don't like. But what you are saying is that telling you reasons why it's not going to work. Sometimes back, right, we when we rebranded Siemens, one of the major problems we had was even when we started speaking to individuals, right, was when they said, "Oh, it tastes different," but formulation did not change. We had to think about it. Come, on, Artishe creatives, we've done everything that and campaign needs to go live. These people are telling us that it tastes different. That feedback alone affected every brand collateral that we've done before launch. Because you
Wow.
cannot have 100 people out of 150 tasting your product and they are telling you it tastes different from what they are used to, that this is not the same and Shinaps that they know. Do you know what we had to do? We had to go back to the drawing board and see how we can reaffirm the taste and say your taste has not changed. We've just rebranded to make it safe enough for you to drink because there are a whole lot of adulterated outside. Now imagine you've done your whole rebrand without testing
That
that.
without testing.
Do you get?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
insight, strategy, research, everything goes hand in hand. You can't say one is more important than the other. But the major thing that every marketing professional needs to understand is that campaigns cannot be built out of thoughts, right? It has to be built out of insight. If it is built out of thought, it's an idea. It's not communicating to it is any campaign that is just gotten out of thought is that has not been tested, that there's no research backing it up. It's just an idea. But if you are working on any campaign, it has to come out of strategy, it has to come out of insight, it has to come out of creativity. Everything works hand in hand, but you just need to follow the due process to ensure that you are not just, it's not just another creative that somebody sees outside. It's something like speaking to your audience that resonates with them and they can connect with.
Hmm. Hmm. This is deep, actually. I am the question I was asking is this thing expensive? My assumption is it is expensive.
Marketing generally is expensive, right? I mean, sometimes you cut corners, you think about, and that's the good thing about digital right now. That digital is giving us an avenue to even though outdoor can be very expensive. I so much believe in outdoor advertising, right? Because that's my field, and I also believe that it works. But I also know that digital is really, 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 really important in what we do. You get my point? So
Yes.
if outdoor is expensive, you can cut costs. Your audience that you want to target, are they on digital? Yes. What platform can you find them on digital? You can solely find them on Facebook according to data. Note, according to data, you can find them on Facebook. So why do I need to advertise on Twitter? Why do I need to advertise on LinkedIn? I'm just saying, for example, If they are on TikTok, let me focus on TikTok and then back it up with my little boards that I'm doing in their environment. If I'm the marketing manager of I'm trying to think about a brand that caters to the mass market. Let's say, for example, I've sold too many alcohol. Alcohol is the only thing that's coming to my head. Let's say I'm the marketing manager for a Jekum or a Coco Samba. Trust me, I'm not going to do my ads on Ikoyi Road, even though
Mm.
there are some of my audience along that
Yes.
axis. But how many of them do I want to speak to? Do you get? And it's very
Mm.
expensive. I'll go to
Yes.
Agege.
Mm.
I'll put my billboard at Agege. I will activate at Agege, where I know I can get somebody that lives in Banana Island would literally know. I mean, want to try it
Mm.
out, on
Yes.
its own, right? If somebody is not introducing them to it and it's not a lifestyle they want to, want to be known for, I will activate somewhere else. I'll put my billboard somewhere else. I'll go to my Facebook. I'll connect with them. I build a community. I advertise to them there. I'm merging what digital can do and what offline advertising can do, and I'm putting it into one to make it a 360 campaign where I'm not losing my consumers at different touch points of their lives. I'm activating and putting my billboard. So even if you miss my activation at Ojoba Market, you will not miss my billboard at Agege. You will not miss my billboard at Okoba. But I mean, you understand what I'm trying to say. So you need to
Yes.
find, and all these things are guided by data too. Do you get? They're guided by
Yes.
data. How many footfalls am I going to get? How many people are literally going to see? See, advertising and marketing is so interesting that
It's
every
so interesting
aspect,
that the what?
every aspect of whatever you are doing,
Yeah.
data must guide
Shem.
it sha.
Yeah. You know, Shem was saying. Shem was like, do do you why do you think every food brand uses a particular color? And immediately I was just like, oh, yellow, 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 yellow.
Exactly. At the maximum, a touch of red, just little red and little green. There's something they are
Mm,
trying to achieve, and it's
there's
what
something.
insight and data has guided over over time. So I mean, everything we are doing has to be built on strategy, has to be built on data, insight before it now comes out of, oh, I want to do something mind blowing. If your mind blowing is not mind blowing with data, you are not blowing anybody's mind. You are only wasting.
Okay, thank you so much. I would be going from away from activation, experiential marketing this time. I would like to go to this thing you tweeted online about Zikoko for marketing and advertising. What's that about?
Okay, so it, so one day I there was this conversation that happened, right? I don't know if you remember this lady that said she did Mattel, everything that's happening on
That everything is
painting.
is
She's literally in charge, right? And even though I mean, she has played her part, but then
yes,
you can't own everything that a brand has
everything like
done
that.
because certain set of people walked through it from even the inside bit, especially if you are, and I learned that she handles the activation bit of whatever. But even that activation bit, you still work with certain guys to achieve it. And then I saw a video from Anthony, and Anthony did a video to talk about how there's no aggregator platform for Nigerian creatives when it comes to marketing and advertising, whereby two people are taking the glory, the brand and the agencies. Now, the agency is not even just taking the glory, the agency leaders are taking the glory. But what about the guys, the copywriter, the guy that came with the insight, the guy that developed the big idea, the guy that designed the art, all those guys, they are lost. You can't find anything that traces it back to them. So
To
I
them.
posted that video, spoke about it, and Jerry, I don't know if you know Jerry, came into my DM and he said, oh, he's working on something like that, but he doesn't really know how to. I think he said he doesn't really know how to go about it, something. And I said, oh, okay, shoot me a DM and let's talk
Let's
about
talk.
it. So he worked on a plan. He has worked on the plan. I read the
Mm,
plan, gave certain feedback, and it was beautiful. And to be honest,
mm,
if it's going to be the even though we have a name already, but I don't just want to
Mm.
mention the name right now.
Yeah.
Even if it is just if it's going to be that platform, the way Zikoko embodies storytelling, that's literally what we
Mm.
want to do
Do
for advertising professional, marketing professionals. We need
originals.
people to a brand is coming from if a brand is coming from the UK, right, and they are in search of creatives they want to work with, there's only two things they can do. It's either they work with existing agencies or they work with someone that has worked on a certain brand that they have affiliation with, and they just go
Sweet.
through. And it just looks as if some set of people are being sidelined because there's no platform that speaks about the work that they do and what they've achieved on the job. And that's what we are trying to do to bridge that gap, to ensure that creatives are seen, their stories are documented, they are well known, even growth process and everything. You can literally see it from end to end in case any brand or any business now wants to come into Nigeria through that platform, they can see whoever they want to work with. That means your copywriter doesn't need to be lost in copies, whereby there's nobody recognizing them. Your creative, your art director, your designer, anybody doing marketing communications generally, they are not lost in the web of the work because most times we are lost in the web of the work. There's so many things I've done that I can't own if not because I found a way to own certain things. I'm reworking certain things on my portfolio, or just because I found a way to own certain things that I've done to say, oh, this is what I contributed. But to be honest, if there's a platform that amplifies it for creatives, is much better, and that's what we are trying to build.
I like that. I like that. I saw the tweet and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna ask you about it." It's like, okay, what's this about? I hope people get what's coming for them and what's coming to help them. I hope a lot of people will jump on that. I love the way the marketing and advertising space is being crafted now. I like the way that we now have voices out there that people
Exactly.
can see. If you talk about tech before, if you talk about anything, everybody think you have to write the code for you to be able to live a meaningful life. But it's not so. I like well done on that. One thing Ladi said on my podcast was like, you can easily tell people that are using AI to think and people that are thinking and
Mm-hmm.
they're using AI to refine blah blah blah. I was like, okay, I asked Fakuma too, like about AI. But it was like, look, people want to work smart without working hard. You can't work hard. You can't work smart before working hard. You have to work hard first.
Process.
So,
You have to go through it.
how do you think AI is shaping the digital marketing space?
So it's very vast, it's very fast that sometimes if you don't know the see life there are principles to life. If you don't know the basics, there's little or nothing you can really do with AI, right? Because even though you want AI to do something amazing, it's going to give you results, right? But if you don't know the basics, how do you even want to know how to make use of it? I've been working on one article for weeks. I don't think I've put my mind, my time, my effort into wanting to write a particular piece on maybe marketing, advertising, or anything, and it's taking me a longer time to churn it out. Not because I can't just use AI to generate, but because I'm trying to achieve something, and that thing that I'm trying to achieve, I'm trying to get it not just from an AI driven point of view. I'm trying to get it from my own knowledge, my own understanding, even though I'm still going to use AI to then say, oh, okay, this insight that I've distilled a campaign. I'm working on a campaign called The Age of Intelligent Campaigns, how artificial intelligence is reshaping advertising generally, right? And I'm looking into I need to distill campaigns. I need to understand the insight of those campaigns that was done with artificial intelligence. I need to know the impact. I need to know everything end to end. So that means I'm studying these campaigns that has been done. I'm trying to localize those campaigns. I'm trying to give my readers I'm trying to give them a vision. I'm trying to sell to them how it is done globally. I cannot
Globally.
just sit down and say, "Can you write me an article?" Blah 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 blah. It's going to give it to me. But to be honest,
Yes.
am I even going to be able to speak about it? Am I even going to be able to understand it the way I want to understand that campaign? You cannot. We need to understand something about life that you can whatever you don't have, you cannot give it out. We've been talking for 51 minutes right now on marketing and advertising. If I don't know what I'm talking about, is it possible for, I mean, you didn't give me any heads up on what I'm going to
Yeah.
discuss.
Nothing.
Tell me you're asking me this question. You didn't say anything. I just jump into a call. I don't even know what to prepare for. And I'm just like, okay, we'll just do it the way we did it the last time. We just talk about whatever we want to talk about. But boom, you're asking me questions and I need to reply you. I need to answer you. So is that if you cannot make AI the center of your thinking, right? Because what you are doing yourself a disservice. Because the moment AI, the set of people that they are saying AI is going to take their jobs, you are one of them. If AI is the bedrock of your thinking, you need to offer value. Something that even if an average person is going to, and I'll give you a case study. Someone walked into our office. I think I told you, was it you? I don't know. I mentioned it somewhere sometimes back. Someone walked into our office sometimes. He was is working on this healthcare product, and he was struggling to land a proposition for whatever I was doing. And we were just having that conversation. Everybody, we were talking, and my MD just sat and he just gave AI a prompt, and he brought out a prompt, and he used that prompt to then. Now I remember we spoke about it when we were having
Yeah.
conversation on Twitter Space, and he used that prompt to deliver that proposition. And one of the stakeholders of the business said, "Oh, but you got this with AI now." And my MD just said, "Okay, you know what? Okay, try it." And the guy tried AI and he did not get that same exact result that he loved. Now, come to think of it, when I saw the prompt that my MD gave to him, it was coming from a knowledgeable point of view. It was not just write me this, what is this? He gave AI enough information. I think he used ChatGPT. Yeah, it was ChatGPT. He gave ChatGPT enough information to make use of from a marketing standpoint, from a product standpoint. He combined everything together, and by the time AI was giving him that proposition, he was able to land it to a point that the client loved it. The client said, "Oh, but you used AI," and he said, "Okay, use your own AI to achieve it." The client couldn't achieve it. That's now imagine that kind of person doing what AI has only done was to optimize and make his work faster. Would he have written it that exact same way? Maybe not, but would have achieved almost the same result. You
Yes.
get? But what he has done is something is meant to write for 2 hours. He has written it in less than 30 minutes. That's what we should always strive to use artificial intelligence for. There needs to be a base of thought process. There needs to be like a foundation of what you want AI to help you achieve. If you are just doing when we were in school, we used to call something like lasso. The main meaning of like lasso is you don't want to understand the subject. You don't want to understand anything the teacher is trying to tell you. You only, or the lecturer is trying to teach you. You only want to just read in abbreviation. Now take it, get it to the exam of what is this? A, B, D, D, D. A means this, B means this, C means, I mean, you will pass, right? Everybody will see that you pass, but the truth is, can you stand the test of time? Can you really speak about what you've written? You don't understand it. You only, assimilate, you only crammed it and you just poured it out. That's literally the fast track process. And I think it's a Nigerian problem, right? Somebody saw me reading some times ago. The way I read is very I don't read in a way that I want to read whereby I'm giving you what you are giving me verbatim. I don't know how to do it, and I think
To
it
that,
literally
yes.
counted against me when I was in school because
To
most
school.
Nigerian lecturers, the way they give it to you is the way
They
they
want you
want
to
you
give it back.
give it back give it back to them. I can't read like that. I struggle with it. You know what I do? If I'm reading any notes, I'm reading line by line to understand. If you ask me, I will explain in my own terms. I cannot tell you the way you've told me. I will only explain it the way I understand. Do you get? So and
Yeah.
somebody said, boy, stress in you. I work in car we buy. I want my MBA first semester exam. If you see the way somebody told me to read, I was just laughing. Say, why are you reading like this? That you are reading to understand. Say, just put this thing in AI. Tell AI to summarize everything for you. Go to your exam. And I'm like, yeah, you going to study
Like
like this?
this is not
Are you
school
not?
now.
It's not.
I
Yes,
came for MBA because I want
I
to
want to understand. I
mm,
don't want, even if I
it's
don't
not the
have first
certificate.
class. Yeah, exactly. Is to understand the basics because I want to take this knowledge I want to take it out of the academic and to just be able to do my thing myself. And come on, and the person say, "Oh, you don't know how to study. How much the way you study? You just give AI the document, tell it to summarize, give it certain prompt." And when I was like, "This is not education. That's you've defeated the purpose of that kind of person will pass an exam, but are you going to have the foundation of what the course is really about? And it goes into our career. You cannot put AI front. You cannot put AI in front without learning the ropes or understanding or even refining your own thinking process. It should help you achieve a better result. It should help you structure it in a better way, but you need to give it something good enough whereby you are giving it something so solid that even if somebody wakes you up in the next 10 years, you know how to do it.
Mm,
Somebody can say, I worked with Peter and I know that
mm.
he knows this stuff.
He knows
Is
this
even
stuff.
though
Yeah.
you will still use AI to optimize whatever you are going to do in the long run because you are thinking efficiency, you are thinking speed and every other thing. You also need to understand that these things that you are trying to do, you need to know it yourself because that's what makes you different. That's what makes you valuable. That's what makes you, kind of very, unique in a very
Unique.
saturated market. Trust me, everybody think they can do marketing. Everybody think they can market. The only way you can, especially marketing professional, and I've been saying it, the only way you can stand out as a marketing professional is to ensure that you know the job. If you don't know the job, everybody thinks, even CEOs that are programmers think they know marketing more than you
Yes.
do. You get, but you are the professional. How do you want to be valuable in a very saturated market where everybody just thinks marketers are playing? And that's why you see certain tweets, oh, I'm going to pay my developer more because I'm paying. Why? Because that content you are writing, I can put it on ChatGPT and make ChatGPT bring it out. The point
Oh yeah
is,
now.
how is it going to be different? How is it going to be good? How is it going to connect with your target audience? How is it going to be so good to a point, or how is your work going to stand the test of time? How is it going to be really so good that people can say, oh, you know what? If you work with Peter, you will achieve so and so level of success. And it comes with learning the ropes and being skilled at it and not just knowing how to do it with AI.
Awesome, Femi. You've done justice. Funny enough, I try to ask this AI question from every of the marketing professional I've brought on. I asked Ladi, I asked Pakuma, I asked Shem, I asked you now. The answer is the same. It is the same. So if four big boys in the industry are saying this,
No, I'm not a
I
big
hope
boy, I'm learning.
because if they are saying this, I believe people. I've seen a lot of people argue this. Most of the time, I listen to people more because I just felt you just talk. Let me listen. Let me hear you speak.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll learn some things from you. And I've seen them argue so much about how AI, how you should use AI. I was like, there was a day I was trying to create a content. I tried to create content around e-commerce. And one of the how I create my content is like I might go 1 month without creating content. And I might create 8 content in a day.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned something from Naval. Naval said, is it inspiration or motivation? Something like that. One of the two is perishable. So if you're inspired to do something and you can do it in 2 minutes, just do it. If you say, okay, I'm inspired to create this content, then it's okay. When I'm done, I'll set up my lights. That's why most of my content, I always hold my phone like this and I will just record it.
Mm-hmm.
So there
Because
was a
as it's
day,
coming, give it out.
yeah, I'll just record. So there are days that I'm working with a client's work and oh, this is a problem that most of this kind don't know, and I'll just put my phone here and I'll record straight up. And I'll record straight up. So there was this day I was not I was trying to create content. What would I talk about? What would I talk about? And I put it in AI. Give me some e-commerce content to write, blah blah blah. I just saw the content that it was suggested. I just laugh like this is this is fluff, man. I'm not recording this. This is not content. So it's true. You can't use it to think. Ladi said you can't use it to think. You have to think first.
Then
Ladi
use it.
said he goes on a walk, he think, yeah, then come back and give it. Oh, this is the. See, I believe one of the things that AI likes is context to the problem you are solving.
Exactly.
You,
Mm-hmm.
you can never understand it. If you don't give it the context to that problem, it can never solve your problem for you. It can't, and that's where marketing guys comes in. But they don't want to
Mm-hmm.
agree. They want to argue.
Everybody is trying to think about speed without wanting to be good on the job. While speed is
Mm,
very important, you also need to um, do what you are meant to do to ensure that you
mm,
are good on the job.
mm, mm.
Some people did
I,
it before speed. Before AI came, Bolaji Alausa and the likes, they did Virgin Atlantic campaign in Port Harcourt that started very crazy conversations. I retweeted it. I know I tweeted it sometimes, but I retweeted it recently where they did there is no Virgin in Port Harcourt. A brand is trying to launch Virgin Atlantic in Port Harcourt and they just came up with there's no Virgin in Port Harcourt. That was a crazy copy that
mm,
steered different kind of conversations
so,
in Port Harcourt. Then, and that was what they want. They wanted awareness. Before everybody knew it, they created different funnels and then plugged the campaign into it. And everybody, oh, this is what these guys are trying to say. It's not like they're insulting Port Harcourt girls, but you've spoken about it. That's what they want to achieve
she,
initially. You get, and if
mm,
certain set of people did amazing stuff before artificial intelligence, what do you think you can't do amazing stuff
mhm.
without artificial intelligence? Am I against it? No. Do I
No,
want you to use it? Absolutely.
yeah.
But you need to feed it something for it to give you something very, very, you know, profound and very, very solid. And that's what a lot of people, especially young folks in our industry, that's what they need to, they need to learn. Yeah.
Mm, I told one of my mentee, I said, go buy copywriting books and write copy with your hand. Write copies with your hand first. So, because if you
Mm-hmm.
tell AI to write copies for you, AI will write the copy, but you need to be able to judge if that copy is good or
If the
not.
copy
If
is
you don't
good
know copy,
or not.
can you judge? How will you be able to judge?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Yeah, so
you can't judge what you don't know. You can't be a judge to what you don't know. Exactly. So right. So you need to even know the ropes to know if AI is giving you something good enough or not. Because AI is learning from other people or
yeah.
learning from his own environment, feeding off from
Mm-hmm.
different information, and is giving you what it thinks is good. If everybody else, if what AI is learning is rubbish, you just take the rubbish and plaster it.
And there's a lot of rubbish online that has been posted.
Exactly. Do you get?
So I'm currently doing my masters, right? And
Oh,
something
okay,
struck
amazing.
me. Yeah, something struck me. Like I was like, it's actually a very big gap between this particular level of education and undergraduate and all of these things. Makes me want to ask you, like, what are those things that struck you in your MBA that you be like, if I stayed as a normal digital marketer or a normal marketer, I won't be exposed to this kind of knowledge. What are those things? Can you talk about two? Just two.
Okay. I mean, I'll give you an instance, which is something I
Okay.
just literally learned,
Yeah.
especially the Nigerian context, how we do business. My
Mm,
MBA taught me that business in most Nigerians don't know how to do business. Now, we are doing a course called Business Simulation. I saw
mm,
Dawood, we take the same
yeah.
MBA. He said
Mm,
something one time and I just laughed because they too had almost similar problems and they are thinking of strategies or anything. We have a service that we are meant to render, right? And to be profitable, that service needs to be around 6,000 euros. Do you know how much my Nigerians are selling it? They're selling it at 3,000. Why? Because nobody is thinking profit, they are thinking volume of orders. And it happened in my group. I saw ridiculous prices Funniest thing was some of the guys that were getting the most of the bulk of orders, they were having servicing 20 something clients per week on a particular service, blah blah blah. They still didn't make top three. My group, we made top three, even though it was tough because we had to stick to our price. Right? I was me and one other colleague of mine were like, okay, even if we are doing discounts, we will not go beyond market value. But guess what? We were getting four orders, we were getting three, but we were doing better economically than someone that got 21. And it was an insight
21.
into how Nigerians do business. And that is why you see someone start up a business, and because they want a bit of market size, they just come up with ridiculous prices. The point is, Nigerians don't think about profit, they think about numbers. We don't look at the right set of numbers. And that is why even it brings me back to even I'm sorry, child deck, guys are child deck. This thing they are doing is wrong because everybody is seeing it that Amoke Oge has made 2.3 billion
Billion.
naira. Like,
Yeah.
have you thought about how much he's paying our staff? Have you thought about
The cost of buying raw
cost of
materials.
the cost of raw materials, how much he's buying, whatever ingredients he's buying in the market. Even sometimes there are shortages. You've not thought about that. You've not thought about extra fees that you pay Agbero to let your boss pass to go and deliver your RAM. You've not thought about all those overhead costs, and the only thing you are thinking about is, oh, in 3 years she has sold 2.3 billion naira. In that 3 years, it will shock you that the cost to run the whole business is 2 billion, and she has only made.
You'll be
Let's be honest.
shocked. You'll
Very
be
shocked.
shocked
It's
if
two
she's
billion.
not in debt.
Has only made maybe 300 million naira profit. So MBA made me realize that Nigerians don't really understand the concept of business. It really made me understand that Nigerians don't understand the concept of business, and that's literally one of the things that we are trying to learn. And I'm excited that I decided to do it because I was caught in between. Do I want to do? I never knew about this insight. Do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? Do I want to? Should
Mm-hmm.
I do it? Should I do it? But I finally did it, and I got that insight. Another thing that I've learned is I used to think that, I mean, I'm still a good to everybody who has worked with me. I think I'm still one of uh the most understanding team leads anybody can
Yeah.
literally have because I'm
Yeah.
very flexible with
Mm.
how I deal with my team, right?
People. Mm.
But MBA has given me a different insight into behaviors, patterns that I need to pay attention to when working with a team. Literally, I was one of the best courses I took so far, or that I've taken so far in my MBA is organizational behavior. I never, I mean, I've heard organizational behavior and I just think, oh, okay, you handle people the way you want to handle them. But then, one thing that I've learned that is quite unique that I find very interesting is the Ubuntu philosophy, which is Africans, we need to, there are certain philosophies of life, there are certain things that are key to Africans, but because of civilization and Western ideologies, we took what we created and we sidelined it. This philosophy was developed by guys in Eastern Africa, right? Eastern and Southern Africa, and it's called the Ubuntu philosophy. What it means is, for an organization to thrive, it's not just about working as a team. You need to see me through you, you see me, or you see yourself through me. Is like everybody is intertwined, and before success can be achieved, one person needs to always, it's not just I've done my job or I'm excelling at what I'm meant to do. You have to be there for each other through every phase of your career, just to ensure that as Femi is feeding off Peter, Peter is feeding off Pakuma, Pakuma is feeding off Seun Adeola, and everybody is helping each other in that space grow. There's competition, right? But still, we are competing in a way that everybody is feeding off each other and we are making ourselves better. It's not toxic. It helps people grow. And when I understood that concept, Me, anything I'm learning, anybody that follows my Twitter account or anything, there are certain times I just tweet certain things. You think I'm tweeting based on maybe I've known this thing, especially if I've not known it before. It's new, the concept was new. I tweeted about it, I had to go and research, I had to go and study about it. Oh, this is what it means, this is how you need to go about it. When I was writing my capstone project on organizational behavior, hammered on it that Africans come, if this philosophy is an African idea or is this ideology is an African ideology, why is it not being used to talk about how to grow organizations within Africa? Why are we embracing, I mean, foreign ideologies and philosophies make a whole lot of sense because they've grown businesses and organizations for years. But come to think of it, it's not as if ours is far behind, right? It is not far behind. The only difference is some people are ready to adopt the Western philosophies, they produce result out of it. Nobody has adopted the African philosophy and you've not produced result out of it. So you think the African philosophy is not as good as the Western philosophy, whereas it's just perception because certain set of people give opportunities to the
Yeah,
Western
that one.
philosophy theology, and nobody gave attention or a chance to the African ideology.
Thank you so much, Femi. It's been awesome talking to you. I like the whole idea what you spoke about. So like this organization thing. I've seen it in
Mm-hmm.
people in Nigerians. That's why I always say that we don't collaborate. It's
At all.
it's a problem. Mm, I currently head a marketing team in a brand, and one of the things I've been trying to shape in the team is that look, you just have to work together. It's a must.
Mm-hmm.
If you send me a DM and say, bros, I want to I want you to look into this proposal. I'll ask you to go and send it to the group.
Mm-hmm.
Go and send it on the
Let
group.
everybody look through it. Let's have input.
Let everybody see the proposal. It's
Let's
I
have
don't know.
input.
Yeah, let everybody have input. Let everybody see it. And I've been able to get a lot of people reorientated. Like, look, you have to look at it this way. It's a team result. Social media can't excel without content creation. Content creation. If you like it, create your content. If I
Exactly.
did not post it, what will you do as social media? If social media post it, if advertising did not run out on it, if it's a law. Okay, let's say we run out on it, and the inventory manager did not make sure that there's inventory. We did buy the
There's
product.
nothing you want to do. Everybody needs to feed off each other. And that's the essence of
It's crazy.
organization.
Mm. I don't know. Do you want to talk about how not collaborating is stopping small businesses to be in particular small business owners? Because I think
As
a lot of business problem they face, especially things like advertising. I'll actually shout to them that look, you are selling shoes, me I'm selling bags, and you want to do influencer marketing. Why can't we do it together and share the cost so that the influencer that is wearing your shoe will also carry my bag? It's same video, and we share the cost. If the cost is 300, you pay 150, I pay 150, and then it's same. But we
so
don't collaborate.
we have ego problem,
Mm,
and even in corporate settings, even in
mm,
proper organization,
yeah,
there's always
yeah.
ego problem. And as someone who has worked in advertising agencies, right, people don't want to compete, or the way we've been built or we've been programmed or wired is not to see the next person beside you as your partner, but as someone you want to compete with. An
Somebody
average
wants to
Nigerian
dominate and
wants to dominate, yeah. An average Nigerian wants to be better than the next person beside him.
person.
While I have no problem with that, right? I still understand the fact that collaboration would get you to wherever you want to be faster than wanting to go solo. And you made a very good example. You are selling shoes, I'm selling bags. An average Nigerian will tell you, oh, what if you get 100 orders of shoes and me, I just get 50 bags? That
Yes,
means you benefited more than me.
you
But what
more
an
than
average
me.
Nigerian is not going to look at is I paid 150, you paid 150. Even though you made 1 million, me I've made 700. The point is, have you made profit or not? You've made profit, because if your cost and everything is 150, right? This other person is cost is 150. The person made 1 million, you made 700. There are times and other days that the person would make 500, you make 800. You
You
will
don't
not
even
think about,
know if those people will still go and refer you.
do you get, if those people that bought will go and refer, or even the person will say, oh, I want to buy bag, and that your partner will say, oh, I have bags. Come to think of it, you've raised a very solid point. But from a business point of view, Nigerians will not want to do that. And that's why when I see Tijo and Bibs, I don't know if you've seen them,
Yeah,
Tijo
yeah,
and
yeah, I
Bibs,
see them.
I
Yeah,
admire what they do. Two
what they
different
do
people. The day I heard their story, I was like, come on. I mean, the two of them are friends of mine, right? And the day I heard their story on how they decided to collaborate, I was like, wow, you guys are different.
together
Two people
different.
coming with different skill sets, complementing each other
Each
to
other.
ensure that they are growing a business and to succeed on it. One person is not available for 2 months, the other person is saying, don't worry, do whatever you have to do for yourself, I'll cater to the business. The person is carrying the weight, pulling the weight for 2 months, the other person comes back, oh, you need a break, you need to rest, you've been working for 2 months. I'll do everything that has to do with orders, pick up, this, the whole operations, the whole procedure. That one carries it. Everybody is feeding off each other to
Each other. Mm.
grow the business. And then we are saying, oh, the same set of guys, one has launched a t-shirt brand, Tees and
Yeah.
Co. Habib is
Mm-hmm.
doing something around Smile Boy with Sad Boys with Smile Again, and the likes. And you are not seeing that what they've learned collaborating with each other, they are able to transfer that skill towards other interests of theirs,
Interest.
and they are
Mm.
growing personal businesses. As much as they are
Yes,
growing
yes.
personal businesses, they are still collaborating on one with what they need to collaborate about. See, the day we learn collaboration in Nigeria, that day, so many of our problems will be solved. And that is why
Yes.
even goes even into politics and whatever you are doing.
Yes.
Ajimobi comes and say, oh, I have so plan and blah 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 for Nigerians. Instead of him to continue from where Sheyi Makinde stopped,
They stop.
he's not going to
Mm.
continue from there. He's going to start his own project. A
Don't
project is not
project.
going to finish in 8 years. So he abandons it. It takes another person comes, take it for 8 years, do something different, abandon. And that is why there's nothing like continuity. There's no process. People don't do things because they want to do it, learn from it, and grow on it. They just want to do it because I want glory for myself. I want to do the business for myself. Instead of you to think about, oh, what's your own skill set? What can you bring to the table? This is
Bring
what
to
you
the
are bringing
table.
to the table. This is what I can
Yeah.
bring to the table. And we are collaborating and we are building a particular business. Fourth canvas,
Yeah.
I don't know much of their story, but I know that Tunji Ogunye, is it
Yeah.
Ogunoye or Ogunye, came, met Victor Fatomi, and they
Yeah.
built that business together. Extreme Group, Babeko,
Yeah.
Soups, and a couple of other people built it to wherever it is today.
So they,
And that agency can rival any agency in Africa. There's Extreme in a Nigerian owned agency in Zambia.
mm.
Now they are planning to have, even if they've not started, in Dubai.
Mm.
There's going to
Wow.
be, and that's how you grow global businesses, through
Mm.
collaboration. You can't do it
Sure.
alone, and that's
Yeah.
one thing Dangote is doing too, through collaboration. If global icons like Dangote are building global businesses through collaboration, what's your excuse? Why do you want to do it alone? That's the problem of Nigerians, the spirit of wanting to do things alone without,
They want to
following.
own 100% of everything.
100%, I don't want to share. Me ò fẹ́ kọ́ gbá mi.
At
Everybody na
all.
thief.
Seriously. Why what you don't do is that you won't even make that small money without that
Mhm.
collaboration. That 700 that you think you won't make it if you do not
You won't make it.
collaborate. You won't even make it
Exactly.
at all. It's crazy, and I hope people learn from that.
Mhm.
It's been 1 hour 20 minutes. Femi.
I mean, I never knew we would even stay this long.
I never knew. I never knew we'll stay this long. I won't ask this or that today. I will just mention
Okay.
something. you tell me the best out of it. So if I say something like phone, you might tell me the best phone brand you know
Ah,
that you like.
you want to set
Anyone?
me up?
No,
Okay,
no, no, no. All right. So we start from phone
Google Pixel,
brand,
brand, Apple.
country,
Right now,
yeah,
China or Japan.
language,
I'll be biased. Ah, one spirit is saying say Yoruba, another spirit is saying I fell in love with the Zulu language. But I think
oh my
I'll
god.
be biased. I'll go with Yoruba language.
Okay. Bible personality,
Daniel.
advertising personality,
uh, Gary V. I'm biased, but let me go with Gary V.
startup founder,
In Nigeria
yes,
or globally,
anywhere, anybody you're feeling,
I'll go with Shola Paystack. I've forgotten his
Mr.
surname. Shola, yeah.
Food,
I'm not a food person, anything.
football
Anyone
club,
is fine. Arsenal, Arsenal ni o, tí o bá ṣe Arsenal kò ṣe anything mọ́.
social media platform,
Twitter, to be honest.
football player,
Currently or
yeah,
all time?
current player.
Currently, I don't think I love any of all these new generation footballers right now.
Yeah, all time.
All time has to be Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry,
All
yes.
right, all right. Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Femi Anthony.
Thank
You've given
you,
us a lot of
thank you for
insight
having
today.
me.
A lot
Thank
of
you so much.
insights today. Thank you so much. Well, what will you leave us with for some message to the world and everybody generally?
Anything you find yourself doing, just try to be the best at it. The moment you always strive to be the best, you realize that you are always trying to be a person of value, right? Put in your efforts, be a person of value, keep striving, and that success that you want in the long run will definitely find you very soon. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. It was good
Yeah,
discussing with you. Thank you
yeah.
for having me.